What's your job?
I make a game.
Wow, cool game.
Thanks.
It's fair to say that my planet fighting game, Sumorbit, wasn't an instant success. It sold 59 copies in the first month of early access and made around $300. Minus returns and taxes. Minus Steam's 30% cut. Plus conversion to Australian dollars. Minus Australian taxes. But it's more than it cost to put it on Steam, so the game has technically made a profit, if you don't count the 2,500 hours of development time. Considering my wishlist numbers going into release, it's about what I expected. There wasn't a whole lot of fanfare, but it was nice to have something available for people to play. To celebrate the release, I ran a bracket at the local fighting game tournament where the winner and a random entrant would get a free copy of the game. We had 15 entrants, including this magpie. The finals were so intense that the players were getting hand cramps, but after 10 games, Blurry came out on top. Since the top 2 players already had a copy of the game, we decided to give it to third place, who had only played it that day. The tournament was an overall success, but presented a few issues. Firstly, I was getting frame drops on my MacBook. It was a good thing another player brought their own laptop to help out with the bracket, which had no issues running the game. You could argue that a MacBook Air with no fan wasn't the best purchase decision for running competitive games. But it turns out my code was producing so much garbage that the game had to drop frames to collect it all. I fixed the most egregious parts, but I'll have to revisit it in the future. Secondly, the Great Filter map was a bit uncompetitive. If players would enter wormholes at the wrong angle, it would almost certainly mean chaotic death from being teleported multiple times. I've since made a few changes to the map. The wormholes share a global timeout of 2 seconds once entered that doesn't pause. This prevents players from being teleported back and forth in rapid succession. I also made the map bigger so that more action could happen in the middle of the map, away from the wormholes. This meant gaps between the wormholes were larger too, so skilled players can more easily thread the gap for offense and survival. I also experimented with orbiting wormholes that make it more difficult to die at the start of a round before gradually slowing down throughout the match to make threading the gaps more viable. But this ended up just adding to the chaos, since if you got unlucky on the way out, you'd have a lot of trouble getting back in. I did, however, use orbiting wormholes for a new map, Orbital Portal, where a wormhole orbits a star. It also has a second star that's in the path of the wormhole, so it gets periodically teleported. Since the heliosphere ring is attached to the star, players can have safety pulled out from underneath them, so they have to pay attention to the wormhole's path. Some maps can have some cheesy strategies, so if people still don't want to play on a given map, they can choose a map to play on with the new map voting system. Each player can select a map that they want to play on, and the game randomly selects from the votes. It still picks randomly from all maps if nobody votes. I put a recommended competitive rule set on the Sumorbit website. It originally started with a Smash Bros style map banning and character counterpick system, but I decided that this would be a bit too verbose. Blurry suggested a system popular with Tekken brackets. The first map is selected randomly. After game 1, the winning team from the previous game can't change their character stats, and the losing team may choose to either change their character or select a map to play on. This seemed like a good middle ground between ease of use and competitive integrity, while reducing time spent between games. I saw a few people stream and make videos on the game, including one space fan who would stream the game in the Sumorbit Discord for hours at a time. Seeing people play the game clued me into some improvements. And that's an immediate softlock.
Nuke the mod, oh no!
Players would sometimes not be able to tell whether they'd failed a relic challenge. So I added indicators on the UI that show if the relic is still valid, along with goal times and certain achievements. I got feedback that the multiplayer was a better introduction to the core gameplay than the campaign, and after some thought and experience watching others play the game, I think I agree. Most of the game's store page is dedicated to the sumo mode first, with the campaign as a bonus option. So I renamed the multiplayer mode to Sumo and moved it to the top option under Play Game. And to cater to single players, I added an extra menu to the multiplayer lobby to easily add AI bots. Now, if a player loads up the game and presses nothing but the select button, they'll be put into a 1v1 match against an AI player. This meant that the reset process for campaign speedruns was no longer as smooth. So I decided to make it way quicker by adding a reset option to the pause menu. This would be dangerous for regular players since they can delete all of their progress with one misinput. So I made the option hidden by default and have to be toggled on in the campaign settings. It also disappears after you beat the last mission on a profile, so players don't accidentally delete their practice profile. I also added a next mission option to the pause menu, so players wouldn't have to keep returning to mission select. I decided to try routing and running the any% speedrun for chapter 1 of the campaign. I got down to 1 minute and 23 seconds of in-game time. This game has a lot of content, guys, trust me. While testing the speedrun, I found that the relic challenge in Conveyor of Doom, where you can't touch Mars, was too luck-based. To make it more consistent, I've made Mars's AI more aggressive. It now pretty much always follows you into the asteroid belt. I made a spreadsheet to track individual mission world records. Most of them are still up for grabs if you're interested. Development on Chapter 2 of the campaign is going well. Most of the missions have working prototypes, though you'll have to wait until the next devlog to hear about those. In the meantime, get Sumo in early access or play the free demo on Steam.